Who said you can't go home? Real Estate Exposed, brought to you by Signature Real Estate. Real Estate Exposed is all about helping homeowners and those who would like to be homeowners and those who would like to get into real estate.
Okay.
Who's going to tell us? Now we are.
Welcome to Real Estate Exposed, you guys. We're your real estate podcast here, coming to you live in Las Vegas. My name is Vandana Bhalla. I'm one of the corporate brokers here at Signature Real Estate Group. And then to my right, I've got Brandon Roberts. Do you want to introduce yourself?
No, this is your intro show.
I got Brandon Roberts, and he is the owner and corporate broker of Signature Real Estate Group. To his right, Miss Shelly Panzarella, who is... Right. I did. Yes. I know your name, but I don't know your title.
I screwed it up last week.
I think it's the managing something or the other for Prosperity Lending.
Yes, I'll take it.
Branch manager.
Yes.
Branch manager. There you go.
I think there should be a better name.
We should. Well, you guys don't let me call me El Jefe. Is that not appropriate?
El Jefe of Prosperity Lending. And to her right, we've got Valerie Grijalva. There is no camera. It's right there. It's up there. You got to look up there for it. I totally am. So
Do you see those two big black things?
I know which one do you
Oh.
Okay, sorry. Thanks for the prep, guys.
yeah, you're welcome. So Valerie Grijalva, I still don't know your title, but I call you badass bitch. And then she's the boss. The boss. Okay, and then to her right is her not boss. Is her
El Jefe boss.
He's your assistant. Thank you for joining us today, Mr. Eric Klein. I know you have a title too, but we don't know what it is. Accounting manager. County manager.
And accounting.
And accounting. All right, you guys. So clearly, if you're watching us today, you know that we're on Facebook.com/realestatex. If you're listening to us, Brandon's going to tell you where you're doing that from because I don't know all those plugs.
You can listen to us on YouTube. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, just about every podcast station out there.
Lots of podcasts, even though we're vlogging,
We're
vodcasting.
Instagram.
We're trying real hard to get a listener or two.
We just,
Let me call my husband. I'll be right back.
yeah, I'm sorry. Is Rich not watching today?
Not yet. It's a little too early.
Oh, good Lord.
Sorry, just kidding.
Goodness gracious.
You don't have to worry, he's not listening.
All right, Valerie, Eric, thank you for joining us today. Don't worry. We do have a safe word for you in case it gets a little out of control. Our safe word here is bananas. Okay, so if it gets a little out of control,
Say bananas.
bananas.
You didn't.
Want a banana?
You got that in real quick.
I sure as shit did,
that
didn't
was
I?
like planned from yesterday. Pretty cool.
All right.
Wait. Hold on. Before
Say
we
again.
get everything started, can we
Nope.
at least
Nuh-uh.
take a
Nuh-uh.
moment
Yep.
Nope.
of silence
Not doing silence.
Happy birthday.
to sing because today is Vandana's birthday. On this note,
All right, go.
bum.
Do it. Get it over.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. Happy birthday, dear Vandana.
Happy birthday
to
to
you.
you.
Yay.
It's an awkward moment when you're sitting in the restaurant and nobody knows what the person's name is. That's what it sounded like. Happy birthday.
We know your name, just many different variations
That was
of
sad.
it.
We had 2 listeners and it went down to 0. And they even took me off. It's not even counting me anymore.
Wow.
No.
Facebook didn't like that algorithm.
I know. People don't wake
Didn't
up
like
this
our
early.
tone.
They didn't wake up at 9, so we moved it to 9:30. And then they're not waking up at 9:30. Soon it'll be at 3 o'clock with a glass of wine. Nice. So come back for that one. Awesome. So we here at Real Estate Exposed talk about all things real estate, whether it's local, national. We haven't really said anything international, but shit, why not? We're not afraid to curse. If you thought this was going to be very proper, don't worry about it.
Bananas.
Bananas. Safe word.
Yeah, I love it. All right. So let's see here. What are we talking about? Tell me a little bit about what you guys do and why you're important to real estate.
Why don't we start with the stats?
Oh, yeah.
Let's stay with the flow.
Let's get it rolling here.
Nobody likes those.
I know, but let's do
Start it off. Start it off with a bang.
Threw us off our game.
Yeah, let's do it before everyone gets on.
All right. I wasn't ready for that. I should have been ready for that. I wasn't 100%
I'm going to
ready
say
for that.
1,050. Oh,
1,050. 1,050 for
There was-
what?
listings?
Sold.
New listings.
New listings. Okay, so brand new listings we have Oh my God, Shelly, you're wrong. 1,001. Does that say 1,061?
Yes.
I don't get it. $1.
It was 1,061. So you were wrong.
We'll call that good.
Bananas.
That's just bananas.
What'd you say, 1,060?
No, 50. You don't say 1,050.
I said
Still.
60.
Yeah, that's still
Yes.
good.
I mean, I heard 60. I didn't say it. You said 60.
It's your birthday. Whatever you heard
Sure.
is fine.
All right,
Totally fine.
1,061.
They did say
I
the
can't
hearing is
see
the first
today.
to go. And
All
the
right,
sight.
back on market, 200 and I don't know if that's his 85 or 95. I legit cannot see today. Brandon, do the stats for
What
us.
happens
Oh,
with-
like I have eyesight. Come on.
All right,
You have
so sold.
fingerprints
It's like
all
the
over
blind
your
leading the
screen.
blind.
I know it really is.
All right,
This is our
so-
second show. Just we're so glad you guys made
I'm
it.
like, wow, Eric.
So let's get back to talking about you guys.
All right, no. Hold on. We've sold 920 homes here in Las Vegas. Of those 920 homes, is Beta laughing at me? Beta, are
Beta's
you
trying to
laughing at
figure out
us?
how to get this under control.
Beta wants to say bananas.
All right, highest price, guys. Go. Tell me what you think it was.
$1.2 million.
Higher.
And
2.3.
$1.3 million.
3.8.
Higher.
Really?
5.2.
More.
Wow. For
Yeah.
what? Last month?
I mean, can I read? Am I reading that right? 6.5.
I
last week's guess.
I just know that we
6.5
closed
million.
two
Oh,
of them
yes,
over
I
$1
do
million
remember
here.
us closing
We
that one.
did?
Did you close
Five
it?
Yes.
to those agents. You did what?
Got the
Close that
title.
one.
You closed the 6.5 one?
Yeah.
Last week.
Holy moly.
And how did you miss it?
I'm
Well,
just messing.
we didn't actually close that. We actually closed 5 that were about 1.1, but that's about 6.5.
Definitely the numbers guy here.
Hey, Eric, what do you do Thursdays at 9:30? We might need a new co-host, so you're going to fit right in.
She looked at me when she told that. So I think I just got the hook.
Okay. So that home took 564 days to sell
Wow.
on the market, right?
Where was it?
Oh, good Lord, Shelly. That's
Sorry,
a lot
too
of
much
work.
information.
All right, I'll ask again. Ask me again later. Average
Where
price.
was it?
Later, like a lot later.
Oh, sorry.
The average price of sold property, 363,153. Brandon, did we go down or up on that? We went up. And the
we went up.
average days on market was 37 days.
I had the stat somewhere. That's up from even last year, right?
Thanks, Shelly, up from last year. Yeah. So we do a lot of research here. I know. We do a ton of research here. All right. So we're done with this.
That's the end of our stats.
Yeah, that's the end of our stats, except for the fact that I still don't know where that home was. But if you give me a second so I can make Shelly
Pretty sure I
whole.
can Google it.
Yeah, you could Google it. But Wayne Newton's house hasn't sold yet.
What?
It was off of Lake Camille, Montelago, Parker Point at Rainbow Canyon in Henderson.
Lake Las
Wow.
Vegas?
Wow.
No, is that Lake Las Vegas?
Water's Edge, latest waterfront desert contemporary by Swaback Partners will take your breath away.
Nice. Congratulations.
Congrats to
You'd like to be the next sponsor on our show.
right. Congratulations to the agent who sold that thing. All right, so you got all your questions
Yes,
answered.
thank you very much.
Okay, moving on from there. All right, Val, Eric,
All about you.
all about you. Tell us what you do and why you're so important. I mean, I know why you're so important, but you tell
Go
me.
ahead, Val.
You can talk about each other too.
You know what's so funny? That's okay. If we're infected, we're already infected because we are COVID free over here. So we are a neutral third party for the real estate transaction on the buyer side, lender side, all of that. So we basically instill that or ensure that the parties of the contract that you guys initially signed for going into transaction is fulfilled to the contract that you guys sign with your buyer or seller. So when I say neutral third party, that is a big, big deal for us because we do try to ensure that all parties are treated fairly,
Yeah.
equally, and there's no bias of opinion or anything like that. So
I mean, let's be real though. If I'm on the other side of a
it's
transaction,
true. That's true. If you're on the other side, we say bananas.
We all say and go
We
bananas.
say, "Oh crap, bananas!" V is on the other side. No, you know it's amazing, and I've told you this before, but you do have the ability when you first send an email to escrow, which is probably the most important thing when an agent sends an email to escrow, opening escrow, is you outline everything that the escrow officer needs in order to get their job done. Which, if I could give one tip, I would think, you should display what you put on there because you leave no questions unanswered for them to do their job effectively.
tip.
And efficiently. And that's, what's that? What'd you say? What'd you
Bananas.
say? Oh, no, bananas. Oh, man, I'm sorry. I probably walked right into that one. But anyway.
You sure as hell did.
I sure in the hell did. It's your birthday, so I'm not going to say anything. So if I could offer anything after the show, there is an outtakes on this, and that will be on there. So anyway, that's what we do, and we are blessed and fortunate to work with professionals in this Las Vegas real estate. We're a national company. We're in the Fortune 3 something.
Low 300.
Low 300. So we're a Fortune 500 company under Bill Foley as our chairman. And everybody knows Mr. Bill Foley with the Golden Knights, and we're still in mourning. So let's not talk about our Golden Knights. But aside from that, I know I did bring it up, but walked right into it. But I'm still in mourning. It's okay. I'm still in mourning. But yeah, so that's who we are, and we're fortunate. And thanks for having us. I don't know what else we're here to talk about. We do have some stats that we want to talk about that
Sweet.
yeah,
I specifically asked for.
You did
because I kinda
specifically ask
asked
for.
you to do the research.
We had an
for us.
agenda today?
Yeah.
No, I mean I just said, hey, make sure you're ready to talk about all this stuff. I don't remember what I said to her.
You said-
but she came in.
You know what
prepared.
was
That's the
awesome?
important
I'm going
part.
to tell you right now. You said, "Hey, be prepared to talk about NOD." I was like, "Great, there are none." End of story.
Oh come on! There's no NODs at all whatsoever.
Well, I mean, the NODs that are filed right now
by
are
the way,
HOA.
NODs.
Oh, notice of defaults.
That means
Sorry.
that somebody has not paid their mortgage.
Or their HOA.
HOA. So right
Oh,
now, the only
that-
thing
they're
we're
doing that
seeing,
again?
yeah. So it like I was just showing Eric that in 2018. So if we use a baseline of 2018, there was 140 NODs, notice of defaults, filed in February 2018. So I'm just using that as a base. Now let's move forward to 2019, February 2019, 108. What's interesting, February 2020, before COVID, 268 were filed. So we were on a trajectory of an upward slant on the graph. And then obviously it
NODs,
drops.
but not
NODs.
Excuse me, not
This-
HOA NODs.
This is all recordings. Yeah. So this is all recordings. And of course now then after COVID, so let's go to March. March was 199. And then April, COVID hits, right? 5. May 6, June 6, July 12. And all of those were HOA.
Wow.
So
yeah, 'cause
it's
you couldn't file NODs
yeah,
for
because you
anything
couldn't
else,
file
right?
anything right after COVID. You couldn't file, so those were all HOA. But it's if you look at the graph, it's actually just it's alarming to see. I mean, Brandon and I were talking before the podcast or before this was that there were so many things. Everybody is like, let's get 2020 over with. Let's do this, and I'm like, I think 2020 has been the biggest blessing. I mean, it really has. I'm not taking away from those that have lost their job or those that have suffered through it, but on the flip side, you have to look at the positive, as Brandon and I were talking about before, is, I've had 5 extra months with my son that I wouldn't have otherwise had. I have family time that's mandated that I have to tell my kids, like, hey, you have to come and we're going to, spend more time at home or spend more time together. Business has been the busiest it has been for us, and we're fortunate and blessed, and the staffing and all of that's been the biggest challenge, but it has been our best year. So it's almost, I told Brandon, I don't want to say that, and he said, you should say that, and I said, well, I don't want to take away from those that have suffered, and I don't want to bring light, make light of it, but for us, it's been one of the best years. So
That's crazy.
yeah.
I think a lot of real estate agents would agree with you. I think they've had some pretty decent years. Those who are working are doing pretty well, right? Yeah. And we talked about you, Shelly, last week too, about all of last week, first week, second week. I don't know. It was one of the weeks, one of the days that
We talked about you
I'm
once.
so glad I'm in the middle today.
is that you had a lot of refinances in addition to, and when we pulled the numbers for my team, we noticed that it was like almost a 50-50 split with the transactions from the team, that half were refinances, half were actually sales. And so
Yeah, Eric could probably lend some insight on that.
let's hear it.
Well, I
Eric.
mean, just from the Chicago title side of things, and I'm not speaking for all title companies, but for Chicago title, since interest rates dropped in March, we jumped up to about 35% of our closings being refinances. Now, in a so-called normal market, it's about 15% that we close at our refis. So it's 85-15 sale to refi. Starting in March, when rates dipped down into the low to mid threes, we went to 65-35 mix of sales to refis, and that's kind of where we are today, right now. Mm-hmm. So when COVID hit, or when the announcement was made on March 17th that things were shutting down, We ended up having to lay off, a small portion of our staff, but more importantly, we had to send about 70% of our people home to work from home, which, in our Chicago title and escrow industry, we don't have a lot of people working from home. So to get them working from home was a challenge that we had to overcome. Orders dropped off about 60% through March and April. But then we didn't see it coming, but all of a sudden it came back.
When you say orders, you mean new orders, right?
New orders.
Okay, so
New orders.
March
So
and April for you guys was pretty quiet.
for new orders. So we still had inventory to close, but we also saw a record number of cancellations. Just uncertainty in the market. Some people not wanting to make that move, not knowing where things were going to go. So we saw about a 60% drop off in new orders, and that lasted, through the end of March, April. In May, all of a sudden, we started seeing and it was almost inexplicable, why would the orders be picking up with 350,000 jobs lost in Southern Nevada. But I think the interest rates and the fact that there's just people that need to move for one reason or another, we just started seeing the increase. And now today we're seeing about 30% more openings than we would have thought, even pre-COVID, that we would have been opening this time of year, 30% more. So. Wow. It's been good, but like Valerie said, not to take away from those who have lost jobs or been affected, by the actual virus. But from the real estate industry, we're doing well. One of the big pluses, like I said, with people working from home, I didn't really have to see Val for about 5 months.
That was a plus?
Bananas.
Wow.
Have you brought your staff back in?
We've brought back a lot of our staff. We still have about 30% working from home. I watch those the Southern Nevada COVID graphs every day, and if you look at the graphs, there's virtually. If you just look at the graphs, there's virtually no COVID left in Southern Nevada. Now, I know that's not actually true, but from a graph standpoint, from hospitalizations and deaths, and I'm certainly no medical expert, but just by those graphs. It seems to be that we're on the downward trend of that right now. So as that happens, we'll bring more people in. Title and escrow is hard to do from home. Even though a lot of what we do is paperless, we still have physical documents. We have buyers and sellers that want to come in for signings, but we've taken all the precautions. We've got all the glass up to separate the people. Everyone's wearing masks. The rooms are scoured after every signing. We accommodate people by doing mobile notaries. So we're taking all the precautions that we can. And again, the end of the year and the fourth quarter, I think, are just going to be unprecedented almost. So.
Yeah.
I agree.
I was actually at one of your at your office. Was it Tuesday? For a signing, and you have the way that it's very systemized for everybody. You wait at the door, and there were a few signings that were happening, but how you took us all in at once, got us all signed in, offered us our face mask, sanitizer, got us into our seats, and then the plexiglass and all that stuff.
Yep.
It was a big right, but you still felt really, safe, right?
Yeah.
And that I think is the biggest piece because we're coming back into it today, and it's hard because I was during it. They were like, you can't come. You cannot. It's just the borrower and the notary that can come.
I was going to say, and I think a lot of companies are still doing that, where it's just the borrowers that can come in and sign. But we are allowing, obviously, our partners and the lenders to come because you guys are an integral part of it. Obviously, we still want to practice. Sorry, V. Just now telling you. Yeah, so if your listeners are on, if that one listener is on, yes, she should have been at the signing. No, just kidding.
Seriously, I thought you guys weren't
No,
letting us in.
That's why I said most of the title companies are not allowing the partners to come in, and we are allowing, and we just ask that everybody social distance, everybody wear a mask, we just make sure that we're practicing safe, procedures. Yeah. So that's a new thing. I'm glad you brought that up, Shelly.
All right, so you guys are telling us that business is booming, right? Real estate's doing well. We've got an article that says that during COVID, it's the worst time to buy. A pandemic is the worst time to buy a home.
See, I'm a little frustrated because the market's
hate
good,
that article.
right? Well, there's multiple coming out. There was another one just the other day too on something, or last week we talked about that it's going to crash. It was out by CoreLogic. But now I feel like the media is attacking real estate, trying to slow down this industry that has been going strong. And so now people are going to start reading this stuff, and I think it's going to create a lot of uncertainty that may not have been there, and I think it could affect our industry.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we're going to do about 20% more revenue this year than we did last year, and last year was a great year.
Hot dog.
So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
there's I don't know who's writing those articles, but they're not in Las
I'll
Vegas.
tell
I
you
don't
who's
think.
writing those articles.
So
Bloomberg.
But just
Yeah.
just like you started off today, where you said, it's hard to say we're doing amazing, right? Because we're in this uncertain time, but our business is really booming. I think it is a lot of us are so afraid to say that because we don't want, we don't want to put right. You want to be empathetic of what's going on, but the reality of it has been a really
our
good
numbers
market for us.
would mirror yours
Yeah.
this year. So, I mean, even through the pandemic when it first started and you saw the cancellations, our closings were up. And I'm just thinking, if that wouldn't have happened, just imagine how many closings we actually would have had.
Right.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
so
I
what
feel like you're about to start singing because you're holding the mic. Like I feel like it's
Happy birthday to you.
bananas. All right. No, seriously though. So wait, damn it, I had a thought. and then I-
Eric was going to say something.
Sorry, Eric.
So
go.
what we saw happen, like I said, unprecedented number of cancellations through March and April. Openings were down. Things looked dire. We did not see an end in sight, but it just happened. And I think part of it was the lower interest rates. But I feel like what we've seen, because that happened obviously right through the peak months of a real estate year, March, April, May, June. Like those are the months. And that's what happened. But I think what's happened then in June, July, and August, we had all this pent up demand. So like I said, we're doing 30% more orders now than we did through then. And I think a lot of it is just the pent up. We had a lot of the buyers that canceled come back. Plus people that have been either renting or on the fence about buying see a 3% interest rate and they go, well, why am I renting? So
Shelly just quoted a client of mine 2.8. Like, that's better than 3, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so I was
better than 3.
Yeah.
Carry the one.
Carry the one. No carry ones anymore. You don't carry ones anymore.
We don't. Oh, sorry. Different
So
show.
I know. No, it was the same show, but yeah. So,
Different
but what I was
episode.
going to say is that Bloomberg article. I think what people need to understand that it's national, right? I mean, they're probably looking at national numbers versus what's going on in here in Las Vegas. We've got not only pricing of properties that make sense for people. We've got the low interest rates as well. So the combination of the two. Well,
yes, and we've got lots.
What you said.
It's amazing to see how many of our buyers are from out of state.
Yeah.
Where are they coming from? Sorry, Brandon.
Mostly California.
What part of California?
Northern.
Really?
I think all over, but
all over, but we're seeing an influx of northern.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Fire sale.
yeah.
It's not soon,
I thought it
right?
was
It's
gonna
not
be
Literally.
Southern because of the fire
sorry.
sales.
No,
Too soon.
but this Bloomberg article wasn't really a national thing. It was a polling of or a survey of 1,000 mortgage holders that said that they regretted buying a house. And they're saying that a lot of people bought houses because they thought they were going to be working at home and stuff and bought a bigger house for their office and stuff, and they're regretting that. I don't think that that's newsworthy to me, but
Well, 1,000 people. I mean,
Such a small sample for the
it was
nation.
1,000 people that bought homes in Northern California.
oh,
specific.
Well,
And they moved to
California, then.
They want to
There
move to
you
Las
go.
Vegas.
That makes sense. Yeah, that
yeah.
makes sense.
No. I think that's the problem too. Is it depends on how many people they're surveying, who they're looking at, what part of what numbers they're including throughout. Is it
Well,
throughout
talk
the
about-
nation
I
or what?
mean, I
Because
think
I
that-
ain't afraid. I'll tell you. I mean, I was
But
a
the
little
headline
afraid.
is scary.
No, and I
Yeah.
think he's got a stat right now. Talk about the NBA stat. I mean,
Ooh, talk about that.
Yeah, I mean it's
The NBA.
You mean for next year?
yeah.
So,
But tell me what that stands for first.
Mortgage Bankers
Oh,
Association.
Thank
yes,
you.
I think it's MBA.
So, MBA.
Not the National
Lakers,
Basketball
too.
Association.
No.
but yeah. Okay.
So,
Mortgage
and obviously everything's very fluid right now in our industry, interest rates and everything. But they came out about 2 or 3 weeks ago and kind of readjusted their stats for next year. They expect interest rates to climb a little bit after the election, maybe after COVID kind of settles down a little bit. So they expect rates to go up a little bit. So they do expect the number of refinances to drop off next year. Now, I'm just reading their stats. Their stats say that refis will be about 50% of what they were this year. But they expect the number of resale transactions to be up about a percentage from this year. And if that happens, like I said, we're having a phenomenal year just from a real estate side. So if that happens, I think we'll have another pretty good year next year just with fewer refinances.
So,
heard
so
that
to
here.
all my
Eric
lender
said-
friends, if you heard what Eric said, it's time to get back to your realtor partners because I know you've been sitting back. I mean, literally sitting at home.
He said,
but
"Bring it on."
Yes,
that's what he
it's
said.
Time
That's
to get
what I
back with your
heard.
realtor partners. Get away from those refinances because time is coming.
Yeah. Well, and so let's talk about really quickly on mortgage rates. There was an article that said that it's never been this hard to get mortgages in 6 years, but that's not the case, right?
No.
I feel like
I'm getting blank applications and I'm sending them straight to close. So, I mean, I don't know what you're talking about.
Attached with a blank
so.
RPA.
Shelly Panzarella, her phone
straight to
number
close
is
Panzarella right here.
702 499. Yeah, that's
Sorry,
all
that
I
was
know.
last episode also.
I was hoping you'd finish it off. That's all I know.
3979
3279.
32679.
8675309.
No, that's Jenny's number.
Who are we advertising for right now? Because I got to call them to make sure they sponsor.
I could do the Glenn Lerner.
No. Oh, goodness gracious, you guys.
do the Glenn Lerner.
Yeah, so you haven't seen a ton of issues. I mean, yeah, it's not like it used to be in 2003 where people are blank applications and going straight to close. But
I mean, we've lost some products, right? Our non-QM, they went away immediately as we hit COVID. So like our non-traditional, your bank statements, your we actually
I think
got
she
to
means
a
what does
point-
QM stand for?
Qualified mortgage? Is that non-qualified mortgage? Sorry. So non-qualified mortgage.
She's an escrow.
Title. I got a title.
You just see the docs they show up
See
like
the docs that show
cool.
up at the 11th hour. No, just
Not from this team.
Not Shelly.
From the blank application. No, so we have seen some of those go away. We saw the home equity lines of credit investors pull back as well. They're just starting to come back. The bank statement program is starting to come back. So at jumbo financing, Wells Fargo pulled out immediately when we're all shut down nationwide, and they've started to come back. So, I mean, from that standpoint, yes, there were some programs and products that went away, but overall, for your traditional conforming FHA, VA loans, they have been here, they've been around, we're still closing loans, we're still doing down payment assistance programs. So from that standpoint, I don't think it's been harder to qualify.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. You know who else pulled back? Zillow. Right? During the COVID when it first
That's
started.
right.
And guess what? Not
They're
anymore.
back.
They're back.
Yeah.
In fact, all of those, what are they called?
Open door,
Oh,
offer pad, iBuyers,
iBuyers. That's the thing.
Redfin.
Yeah, they're all coming back, right? And they're coming back with a vengeance right now.
So that would then
because they
also-
missed out on some good deals during that time.
Yeah, that's a precursor for what Eric was saying, right? The real estate market on purchases is gonna.
Yeah.
They're seeing it too.
You
And I
sent me
think their buy box just went down like 50,000, but I mean not much. I mean,
their
I think-
buy box.
Yeah, I meant where they're buying up to. So they were buying up to 500. Now they're going to 450. I mean, they just dropped down to 450.
Ah.
So it just went down a little bit.
Nice.
I didn't know that.
I didn't
That's
know
a
they
cool
called
word.
it buy
Buy
box.
Sorry. Learn something new on Real Estate Exposed.
Their max buy rate. I don't know. What would you call that? I mean, okay, fine. Their buy box.
They're
I'm gonna
their parameters in which they buy
bananas.
within. Their
So, yeah, so they're coming back, but they're coming back now, and they're starting to hit other markets. You sent an article, Shelly, the other day in regards to that, or a blog or something in regards to that, how agents are now essentially feeding the beast, right?
Now?
Which, well,
They've
I
built-
think it's
they've built
I think,
the beast.
Yeah, it's that train is.
Can we talk about that? We can talk about that. Let's talk about that. Screw it.
I
don't
think
care
it's
what
an
anybody
I think
says.
it's
Let's
an
talk about it.
amazing business model. You offer realtors something free to market their listings. They take it, they sell them back to leads. They take the money, they roll it, and they start buying
I mean,
property,
they're-
and they just grow.
You can't. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
almost like you can't be mad at them for.
No, it's a great business
plan,
model.
you know?
Yeah.
You just have to adapt. I mean, that's the thing is you have
And
to
there's-
adapt, and there's plus and minuses with that, right? I mean, with buying through an iBuyer versus buying traditional, and obviously it's always the money at the end of the day what the seller's going to net, and so that's where you guys have to do a great job as identifying that, because the consumer doesn't see that; they only see it after they enter into the contract.
But the other thing though, it's not always about the money, and that's what we have to keep in
Yeah.
mind. Sometimes it's about the experience and the quickness of the
Yeah.
transaction.
Seamless.
So it's the unknown for the buyer, not knowing that you can actually get a homes sold and closed so quick now anyway. But yeah, it's like trading in your car.
Yeah. The only thing I would say is like
Used home
obviously HOA is the only thing that would delay is still HOAs. There's 10 days, and so trying to time an escrow is always that HOA delay that we have. So
Now that's the business model.
The HOAs.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna start one.
those HOAs are just
the HOAs.
That word.
Damn
those
HOAs.
HOAs. I'm telling you.
Is that appropriate, Betty? You're not going to bleep it.
Well, if we
Don't bleep
said
her.
shit and all this other, I mean, HOAs are fine. We're not saying.
Cool, I'm
you know,
bleep free today.
Today, you're bleep free. We're also live, so he can't really bleep you anymore.
Oh, X.
Oh no.
Now it's kind of
On the replay.
yeah. There's no
Hoa.
delay, right?
What's
We're
a
going
hoa?
straight-
What's a HOA? I think we should start a new trend. HOA.
I think we should write a dictionary just from Val's terms.
Hey, welcome to Eric's world every day. He's always like, what? I'm like, let me explain.
What does your world look like every day?
Trying to decipher Valerie's text messages.
Oh, yeah, that's
Like she
right,
just
yeah.
assumes I get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's like when my teenage daughters send me text messages.
yeah,
I'm like,
you gotta-
what does that stand for?
You've got to talk in shorthand. If you're not cool, anybody has kids that knows that you talk in shorthand. You
Yeah.
don't ever spell it out.
Dude,
You
I
know,
put
it's
a
always-
period at the end of my sentence, and my
wow.
kids go insane.
Oh, why?
They're like, yeah, why are you doing
Why
that?
are you
I don't
doing that?
capitalize.
Yeah.
Beta,
Yeah.
you do the same thing, don't you? You're like,
Yeah.
why do you have so many periods? Yeah, there's 3 sentences, but why do you need those?
Bananas. Bananas. Happy
no
birthday
formal texting allowed. Oh my
to
God.
you. Happy birthday. We started to get
I
off
feel
track
like you're going to
when we-
critique every text I sent you anyway. So
Oh,
Yeah.
you do.
Well, no, if you
are
spell it wrong, like,
you're a master grammar. You're a
yes.
Grammar.
Yes.
yeah, I don't know. We can't say it anymore.
You can't say it. You're a grammar.
I mean, Shelly did say cracker in the
you're
first
grammar
episode.
police.
What
Yeah.
does that have to do with the
Sorry. Bananas.
All right, we're
bananas?
losing them.
Okay, we're
Yes.
losing them. They're
Yeah.
dropping off like flies.
No, they're loving it. They're loving it. All right, Brandon, you have an article up. What are you? What are you looking
no,
at?
it was the iBuyer article. It just says they're poised for making a comeback. It was put out by Realtor Magazine and just said iBuyers last quarter purchased the fewest homes in more than 3 years as the pandemic gave the real estate model its biggest test yet. But they're coming back. So
Open Door just filed their IPO, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of big, even though they've not made a profit since they've been open.
but now they've got what? Now they got an
Since
extra.
they've been opening doors,
now they got an
had no
extra $1 billion
profits.
in cash
Influx,
infusion.
yeah.
So
Well, I think too, you're going to see a lot in the real estate community. The bundle services, right? The bundle services are going to be key for you guys to, bundle all of your
Bundle as in like real
everything.
estate, or
yeah,
bundle
everything.
as in
You mean
one-stop
Brandon
shop?
knows what I'm saying because I don't
Package
want
deal. One-stop shop.
One-stop shop, and being a one-stop shop, and as much as you guys can put under your umbrella to help the consumer is how you're going to compete with those.
That's true because Open Door is owned by Lennar, right? And Home Builder, so they've got the title, they've got the insurance, they've got the mortgage. I see what you're saying.
going same
Zillow's going same
Title
route,
as
yeah.
well.
I remember when that article came out, you were out for blood.
Zillow.
Yeah, when they started doing loans.
Oh yeah, that was because I was paying into. We were paying big bucks for Zillow. I'm like, what the f?
Yeah.
they were
I
taking your
didn't say
money
that.
and loaning it out.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing it. Fauna's like, it's really still a good.
you can't be mad at them.
I know. I know. It's a great platform.
It's your own fault. No, you choose to support whatever you do.
So we so we have an article about sellers currently controlling pricing on properties, and the article talks about, well, how much longer are they going to be able to do that? And so I've got clients that ask me all the time, well, how much longer am I going to be able to get top dollar for my house? What if I wait till February? I was like, you can wait, do what you want. I left my crystal ball at home, or usually I'm working from home, so I left it in the office. Shut up, Brandon. And we
It is so good to see her outside.
Yes.
It really is.
It's rare, but it's
That or some
exciting.
background.
see, and this is how this is how I make sure you still love me, right? I just give a little bit. It's like a little, just a little tease. Exactly. So how much longer are sellers going to be able to control their pricing? What do you guys think?
You guys.
No. You're the guest.
gonna
This
say
is your
we're-
job.
oh, okay.
You tell us. What do you think?
Well,
I mean,
I
this is
mean-
just an opinion. This is no crystal ball. We'll paraphrase this
Yes.
to everybody that Eric Klein is not making predictions about the market. He is just using the knowledge that he
I am
has.
not a
and he's
realtor.
right. usually.
I'm not a realtor, but I do know that inventory is low right now. While inventory remains low, sellers will still be able to kind of dictate price.
Yeah.
And how long do you think it's going to stay low like this? I mean, here's the thing, right? I mean, let's talk about numbers. Go back to numbers again. And usually around this time of year, September, October, November, December, people don't think about buying houses. They think about Christmas. I mean, they start thinking about Christmas in August, right?
Yeah. Home for since March.
Right.
And sellers will start taking homes off the market in November, December, for at least for a few months. you know.
Yeah.
So inventory is going to get even more lean over the next 5 months. So
You heard it here.
Maybe they'll cancel Christmas.
Maybe. Well, I heard they're
He's a bah
canceling
humbug.
Halloween.
That's why.
I heard
I
there's
can only hope.
and look, if we finally get Halloween falling on a Saturday night, which is ideal for the kids, and they're trying to cancel it. So
Think about it though. Like,
How'd they
you talk
cancel
about
it?
COVID, and then you're like, oh, you're going to send your kids out to get
yeah.
candy.
They're all wearing masks.
I know. But
They always, every year they do.
We're having a protest in my
Sanitizer.
neighborhood.
yeah, we're going to hand out a sanitizer with the candy.
Yes, there you go.
Spray it.
Sanitize
through the-
before.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just told my kids, they're like, well, are we going to be able to go trick-or-treating? I'm like, first of all, you're in your teens, so you should
Does
stop.
that stop?
I don't know. Does it stop? When does that
No, it
stop?
never
Your kids go
stops.
even
I
now?
go.
Well, I have great neighbors, so we do shots on the way, but
Yeah.
like,
I tell everybody, I mean, my favorite subdivision in Las Vegas for Halloween
neighborhood.
is Eagle Hills.
oh.
Oh my gosh.
Dang, girl.
Eagle Hill. Well,
do
I
you
don't
get in
live
there?
there. No, I don't
Oh, I know where you
I don't
live.
live there. I have friends that live there, and so I've asked these friends, can I please get on the list every year because it is the most amazing. They have vendors every other house. Or
Shut
so. No,
up.
they do. They have bands, and
I'm
they
gonna
got
bust kids in there
it's-
this year.
If you start searching, you guys have MLS access. Search who lives in Eagle Hills and make some friends from now until Halloween.
girl.
Do something. Yeah.
Once you
it's
go
happening.
there, you will never want to trick or treat anywhere else. Yeah, it's amazing. I've never seen anything
So what do you
like
mean
it.
they have vendors? What does
So
that
like
even mean?
every house
How do I
has
get-
like they
become
have
a
the
vendor?
pizza guy, like the pizza truck, and another one will have the food truck, the cotton candy. Every other house has something for the parents, for the kids, and so
So they go around trick-or-treating for pizza slices?
So every house,
Or they get, like,
has,
pizza
you
boxes.
can go no, you go and order your pizza, and you're eating your pizza. You go to the next house.
Damn,
You
I
go.
thought-
They have Ben and Jerry's, the trucks.
No
Like it is the
flipping
most
way.
amazing. I think I told you this last year. I'm
You
like,
did
V.
not.
I'm
That was
like,
your
you-
other friend, V.
It
Your-
was probably was my other friend. I have two. So didn't I tell you?
Yeah. I don't know.
It was one of you two.
Yeah, it was one of you two. And so if you guys, Eagle Hills, you have any friends, go there for Halloween no matter what. Yeah.
Damn, I'm returning
It's
all of my
amazing.
big king size bars this year. I'm gonna have to do it up.
They do king size candy. Everything's regular size.
I mean, but if you're gonna have a full food truck and like,
they still have candy, so they
Really?
can still go to the house. And they have the
oh my god.
So we're busing our children in with Valerie this year. Are they doing Halloween?
I don't know. I'm literally waiting. Because I have it on my calendar for October 1st to ask. Yeah, please put it on the list. 'Cause every homeowner only gets 100 names per for that day.
Let's
Hey, why don't we
And
just buy a
line,
house
100
there
names,
together,
yeah.
right? And it'll
'Cause
be
the
our
kids,
thing.
they
and
have
we'll
to
just-
We're
notate
still
the
in
kids
escrow on
too.
Michael Jordan's
I
home.
think it's cheaper just to rent a food truck.
Yeah.
Just put it in front of your house.
But can you imagine? Holy moly, macarols.
That's awesome.
It's amazing.
All
Eagle
right.
Hills. Where's that located?
Summerlin.
Summerlin.
TPC area. Yeah, it's amazing.
Do you go there too, Eric? Do you go trick-or-treating?
invited.
He's not on the
It's
list.
special invite only.
Oh.
What'd you do wrong today?
Valerie's never invited me.
I want to have a good time.
We should-
I'm out.
Bananas.
oh, goodness gracious. All right. What do you have up there?
Oh, no,
Satema.
nothing serious.
I
It's,
know,
yeah.
but let's talk about that.
No, so
That's your guy. That's your boy.
that's my boy. Satemanali is going to be the speaker at the general membership meeting Friday, October 9th, 2020.
I got to ask you a
Is it
question.
live?
So you guys say Satema Nali, but it's with a
Nali.
G.
It's Nolly.
Is that silent? Is it G? Well, no, because
I
it's
used
in
to
place
always
of an
call
N.
her Gravalga.
Grijalva.
Grijalva.
That's how it would be. Like,
I always spelt her name that way, and nobody ever corrected me until
You never said
she's
it to me. You would have said to me, I would have corrected you.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the G is
Silent.
and the V
Well, the
is
J is
also
silent.
flip flops.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Brandon's like,
So Tim has made a big impact in my life, and Super Bowl champion, played for the Patriots, BYU football star, if you like BYU, which I don't. I was a Ute fan. I'm from
okay,
Utah,
I'm
but
like-
but anyway, he's coming. That's going to be awesome. So I believe it's all through Zoom, but
Nice.
That's awesome.
be pretty neat.
What's he going to talk about?
How to win in real estate and in life.
Ooh.
Yeah, can you believe it's been a year since I did his?
Yeah, you went through it.
I mean, not to talk about me,
Immersion?
and it's not necessarily real estate.
Let's talk
but
about you.
It has been literally, truly the best experience of my
Really?
my year. Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm going back to Newport. I'm going to dredge the fires in California, and I'm going to go and kind of do a little like
Reflection.
reflection. That's a good.
That's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. He's amazing. Truly, he's an amazing guy, and he's got just some great insights and also strategies on how to just do business great. So
Interesting. Hey, Val, you want to go?
Sure.
Yeah, me neither.
it's on Zoom.
Wow.
Just kidding. No, we're going to go for the. Yeah,
You
yeah,
can
yeah.
You're
do it
doing
from-
the inspiration.
You
I'm
can do it
talking
from your
about
house.
We're talking about the immersion thing. I was talking about immersion.
Oh.
That.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
didn't think
negative.
so.
No.
Yeah,
But
that's a big fat no. But how's your Peloton?
I'm a Pello.
Really?
I love Peloton. I've gone on 5 rides, so yeah, it makes me an expert, right? I could talk about 5 rides equals an
Neighborhood
expert.
rides?
Yeah.
I mean,
Can you see the
that's
difference? It's
like the
just-
most
just
you've done
following-
something consistently.
Rude. Oh, so rude, right? Bananas. Takeaway. No, it is amazing. So like if you, I used to sit back and look at everybody doing this Peloton. I'm like, okay, what is the big deal? It is amazing. It is
Really?
truly amazing. I think it's because you feel like there's somebody in front. Well, there's a screen in front of you with a live instructor teaching you, and it's their inspiration. It feels like you're in psycho class, you know? And
Wow.
yeah, it's
You
amazing.
zone everybody out, and it's just you and the screen.
It's you and the screen, and you could. But the cool thing is you can compete with others. So you can tell, like, I can say, "Hey, Shelly, I'm jumping on, and let's compete." And I could send you my stats. You could send me yours. You could invite you to ride with. I mean, I could ride with anybody in the nation. I mean, it's really. I don't do honestly. I just tune that out, and it's just me and my man Cody. I got a new favorite instructor. He does the Latin. He's all about Latin, letting it go. He's like, let it go. And I get all, I know Chad and Colton think I've lost my mind because I'm in there with the Latin vibe and it's blasting. It's like,
Nice.
yeah, and I'm just in my zone and it's amazing. Like I said, 5 rides. So check with me next week.
Well, I
Check
did my
with me next
first
week, yeah.
indoor bike riding class with you.
It's exactly like that.
Okay.
Is it?
You
So is
loved it.
So is it? I did actually. I went back. I think a second time and then never again. But did you put it right in your kitchen?
It's in, so we're redoing our dining room. So it's in my dining room with no carpet, nothing, just echoed, like just loud as hell.
In your isn't that
And
crazy?
no
like,
curtains, anything. So I'm flinging up, and it's not a sight to see if you're coming up to the door because I'm just, pedaling and my hair, and I'm just like, yeah, and I'm doing the whole thing, and yeah, it's a sight to see for sure.
Nice.
I'm sure I'm on somebody's, like this crazy woman. Look at her. She didn't even put up lines. There's nothing. I'm just there. I'm letting it all out. I'm just, you know what?
We need one of those
She
live
does
videos.
not live
I'm
in Eagle
going
Hills.
for it. I
just
do
to
not.
reference back to that for any of you who
Clearly, I don't
wanna
live in
go.
Eagle Hills. Yeah, I would not be allowed in Eagle Hills. So yeah, it's amazing. So if you guys are on the fence with it, I think they've dropped the price. It's just yeah. And I have a gym in my house, so I have no excuses, and I've made excuses for years. So
But you
this
put
is-
the Peloton inside the dining room,
well,
even
only
though you
'cause
have
we're
a gym.
redoing it. Yeah,
Oh.
I know it's only because we're redoing it. But
That's different.
normally it would go into the gym.
Got
But
it.
I just because it's this whole room of yeah.
I don't know if you just want to have the food around, the Peloton hanging, motivation.
No, it's basically you don't eat, you get on the Peloton.
There you go. I like that.
There's no eating in my house right now. So you'll see. You won't be able to see me next time, V. I'll be like, where'd she go? Oh,
Aw.
she lost so much weight. Oh,
She's on a bike ride.
she's on a bike ride.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and it's also playing fun with the screen name. I change my screen name all the time, too.
Oh my God, that's like
yeah.
what my kids
Bananas.
do with Instagram.
I'm like, let's ride, bitches. Like Vegas, bitches. And I just do all kinds of fun stuff, and I change it so people can't find me.
You do that on your Zoom calls too.
I do. Yeah.
I noticed
It's
that.
fun. It's fun.
For a long time, I was like, "Who's Carol Baskin? Why is she calling herself Carol Baskin?"
You still haven't watched that,
I
have you?
have not watched that.
You have to watch
No,
it.
I don't know how
It's
to
not
Netflix
so
and
good.
chill.
Let's
just be real.
It's so bad. It's
There's no chilling to
To that.
Yeah, it is so bad that you have to watch
Have
it.
you guys
Like,
seen Yellowstone yet?
Yes.
Oh no.
That's really,
Is
really
it
good.
another shit show?
No, it's just
Oh.
yeah.
How do you guys
Yes,
have so
Kevin
much time to
Costner.
Netflix and chill?
Kevin
Like
Costner.
legitimately.
Oh.
It's a
Really?
series.
Is that when it happens?
And now on the Peloton, it's amazing.
Yeah, that's a
Right?
good one.
That's a good one. Yellowstone.
Okay. All right. Well, you heard it here. So, what else did I ask you guys to bring with you today?
Oh, you brought that.
NODs. And I know there was more stuff on that list.
Look at it, to be honest with you. I said, this is what she's going to get.
You made a mistake, V, when you said, "I don't remember what I asked you for."
Well, I do. I mean, I
Wait,
texted.
so I have a question.
Can
Can I ask a question?
Yeah. Ask
So
her a
you
question.
you were in the industry when in 2008, right? So what
That
do you
was my
see
question.
to be different?
That was my question.
Hoping she wouldn't remember.
What do you see to be different from then and now? Because everybody wants to say this is like
starting to-
yeah,
to- yeah.
it's starting to
so
be that
the
way.
biggest difference everybody knows is that there's equity in the home. So we're not going to see the big mass exodus and the loan programs, right? I mean, you didn't have the loan programs that you have now and safeguarding that whole process, but completely different mindset too. I mean, it's right now we're in a pandemic, whereas there, back in 2008, I mean, it was, I lived through it, and I remember thinking like, oh my God, I don't know if we're going to survive this. This is a different, I mean, this whole pandemic where we're in now, I mean, it's just a different feel, right? I mean, it's almost like, I hate to say it, it's a temporary thing that we have to overcome. Now, granted, the loss of jobs and employment and all of that, 2021, 2022, with increasing, the NOD status will probably increase, but because the mortgage companies are being so accommodating and trying to work with the homeowners, you're seeing a lot of that add on to the back end, so they're giving them time to catch up. They're giving them time, whereas before in 2008, it was boom, boom, but we couldn't keep up with the NODs. I was living at the auctions. Remember, I was going down there and just trying to keep up with the auction process. Here, I mean, you can't even get an auction. I mean, can't even get anything on sale down at Nevada Legal. So the mindset, the market is just completely different. So I don't see the big everyone, and that's the other thing. The conversation we have, I think we had offline, was REOs.
Are they coming back? Yeah.
Are they coming back? There's going to be a slight increase, but it's still going to dissipate over like a year versus you're not going to have the mass dump that everybody's thinking that these banks are going to do. They're working with homeowners. They're putting on the back end. They're trying to work with them. The forbearance, I mean, even with forbearances, we're having a lot of, we talked about the government assistance that homeowners are receiving. They're using that to pay the mortgages, and those that aren't, I mean, they're paying them back just to get a lower refi. I mean, we're seeing that too. So I'm like, they have the money, they're paying back so that they can get the loan approved, and none of that was available in 2008. So that's where I think the biggest difference is. I don't know if you want to shed any light to.
No, I mean, there's obviously quite a few differences, like with the economy, but the recession affected absolutely everybody. COVID, I don't think is quite as wide-reaching from a financial standpoint. Not everybody's affected by COVID financially, but the recession did. Interest rates are less than half of what they were then. Yeah. And we have, and I don't know the exact numbers, but we also have much less inventory right now than we did back in 2004, 2005, and then going into 2008. So I think any negative effects that COVID is going to have on the real estate industry will be it'll be a shorter window than the recession just dragged out for years. Mm-hmm. So I think that's just kind of what my opinion is.
Well, I think a lot of people aren't going to give up on their house, and a lot of people own less homes than they did before. So it was, I mean, these are their personal residents; they're less likely to walk from them.
True. Agreed.
Yeah, they didn't have 6 or 7 of them.
Yeah.
Purchased in one community.
They
live in all of them.
Anybody in Eagle Hills yet?
I was just going to say
Still
that.
trying to find an Eagle Hills person. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll buy that at the auction for Shelly's concubine. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm like, I knew it was a C word. I couldn't remember. Not that C word. All right. So we have
Bananas.
another article in regards to buyers' housing budgets are being stretched, meaning that they're house poor. And they're seeing that according to this article, and that was information that was provided through a research by Lending Tree. But San Diego, Los Angeles, Salt Lake City, Denver, San Jose, California, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Cleveland, Oklahoma City. Wait, why did these numbers go up? Oh, Cincinnati, St. Louis, no Vegas,
She's reading the article as we go.
I know. I was like, she's just going to read the whole article.
No, it was just the numbers. But number one market for
And then it said, comma.
Dot, dot, dot.
so number one is San Diego.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
30% of the cities that you just listed are in California.
I
And that's
know.
that's why we're getting such an influx of buyers from California right now.
Yeah.
So
That's amazing. Okay. So
Moving on.
let's
I
talk
like our
about-
transitions. Our transitions are so smooth.
Good when we're live. It's even better when we're live.
No, it was great. It was great. All right, let's talk about rates. I mean, I feel like we're at that
Rates?
time to talk about some rotes. Let's talk about some
Rates.
rotes. Shelly,
So-
what are you doing over there?
I mean, rates are hanging low, as Eric mentioned. We're in the low three, or we're below three.
Yeah,
You mentioned
2.8 for-
2.75. Yesterday, the Fed spoke, and I just want to put this out there because there's always this confusion around when the Fed speaks and says rates are going to stay low. That is our short-term rates, right? Federal Reserve is our Fed rate, not our mortgage-backed security rates. So there's indication that rates will probably go up if inflation goes up, right? Would you agree that there's going to be some inflation? So usually as inflation increases, so do interest rates. And then there's this, and I think I've talked about Calabria. That's my other C word. Calabria, who's a director
That's not what we
of,
call him here, but go ahead.
director of FHFA, who is still trying to impose this adverse refi fee, which he was just putting out there
That
September
0.5%.
1st.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All refinances and purchases, right?
Trying to
It goes
kind
back
of,
to the consumer, right?
I mean, it would, right? If
yeah,
there's,
I mean, that's
it's hard for a bank or mortgage company to actually take that on, but that's coming down the pike in December, and he's just kind of placating that, saying it's not that big of a deal. It's just extra $600 to your interest, and
I mean, if that's what your loan amount is, right?
Yeah,
Maybe on
yeah,
the
true.
average. But
True,
if your
true,
loan
true.
amount is a lot higher and you're in that bulk, what is that rate called? The high one, the really
Jumbo?
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes,
Jumbo rate.
the jumbo,
The jumbo
rate.
loads.
how are you the grammar police with that vocabulary?
My
She's all
coffee
giddy
still
today.
hasn't kicked in.
Yeah,
My
all
one-
giddy
you would have
today.
been here at 9 when this started.
I think your coffee kicked in. What do you have in it?
Right?
Exactly.
That one.
Yeah, but if you're doing a jumbo loan, that's a lot higher.
As far as the cost, yes. Yeah, so I mean, I think that it's. I'm like,
Thanks,
yes.
Shelly.
Moving on. Higher for
And with that,
So I believe that rates will be, and again, this is the Shelly Panzarella crystal ball. Sometimes a little muddy during times, but I believe rates towards the end of the year we'll start to see them increase, and not significant. I don't think we'll get into the high fours. Like we were 4.5 pre-COVID.
Yeah.
We forget about that. But I was talking. I don't know where I was saying this, but
in 08. I mean, the rates in 08 were
7 or
Yeah.
8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean that 4 is just completely so low.
we had a
Record
very
low, I've
small
heard.
blip of increase in last 3 weeks ago, and I had called consumers to say, "Hey, I'm just letting you know, the rates kind of went up a little bit. Let's not lock." Or they freaked out.
Yeah,
Like,
and they
it's
pulled
a-
out of their.
Yeah, they're like, "I'm going to hold off." I'm like, "No way."
I can't
It's
imagine
just-
that goes down lower, but I mean, you're the
No.
expert, so
I don't know that we're going to see lower for mortgage rates, but the biggest thing that I would say is you're going to hear the news that's going to say Fed has decided to keep rates low through 2023.
I thought it was, or 2021, or
2020, wait, I have my stat on that. 2021.
yeah.
And it is true. We'll probably keep our short-term rates low, but mortgage rates are not the same as the Fed Reserve rates.
Wait, what do you mean short-term rates?
Like your
What's-
auto loans, your
Ah.
credit card
So-
rates.
so not-
basically to lend to the banks, yeah.
Okay, so
not
nothing
mortgage.
at 15 years, 30 years, those are all long-term rates. Is that what you're saying?
Those are all followed by the Treasury bill. Yeah, mortgage-backed security rates. I know, lost you, huh?
No, it gets me every time because when I saw that same thing, I was like, "Oh," I told Eric, like, "Wow," and I'm like, "No, it doesn't necessarily mean that. That's
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
our housing market. That's
right.
cars and
That's exactly right,
Financing
right.
for furniture. I don't know. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, like all the articles that I always see are always like, rates are at a record low. They've been at a record low,
Yeah.
Yeah, for 6 months.
right? I mean, but are they?
About.
And they're not going further down. It's just.
Imagine
I'd
if
be.
it go
It,
down.
I guess
I'd
it
almost
depends
be
on-
terrified if they
Yeah.
did, right? Because how does a company stay in? Right? If we hit
yeah,
zero,
yeah, how do you-
how would a
yeah.
lender stay in business? How could we?
As soon as they start paying me to take their money, then I'm in.
I mean, if we keep getting blank applications and they go straight to close, and really, what do we have to do?
We're
But
closing them.
Yeah.
from home.
Yeah, I think
we don't even need a name on them. We just close them.
like, but you have to have your face mask on, and you have to sign with a
Anybody
clean
can
pen.
get a title
Just
with
just make sure
Chicago.
just make sure you pay your HOA
Your HOA.
or you'll lose it.
Your HOA is above your mortgage, for sure. Pay the HOA. The HOA is not kind.
They're the only ones foreclosing right
They're
now.
not kind.
Are they
No.
foreclosing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our numbers.
Oh, I
Five.
thought those are the defaults.
So remember when
Yeah,
you could
which-
like buy a home at the auction that had an HOA foreclosure for like $5,000 and it was like a 300. I don't want those days to come back,
No,
but I want a deal like that.
I remember, this is not a funny story, but it is kind of it's an eye opening. I was down there and this gentleman had walked up and he had his paper of a house that he was going to buy for $10,000, and it was. Yeah, and all the investors who were always down there, yeah, he was so excited. He's bidding, and nobody's like bidding against him. And I'm like, why did he just walk away with the house for like $10,000? And they said, yeah, it was an HOA, and he had no idea. So consumers, when they see the filings, they don't know that that's necessary. They think that foreclosure supersedes the first, and so he thought he was getting a killer deal, and nobody said anything to him. So he walked away, went out and paid, and walked away. And I always wonder, like, God, what happened to that? I should look up that address because I remember it, but I remember thinking,
Was it in
like,
Eagle
God,
Hills?
It was in Eagle Hills.
It's funny you didn't see the guy back at the auction, did you?
Didn't see that guy back at the auction.
So
Here's
here's
not kind, like at the auction, because those guys know when they're
Oh,
bidding.
yeah, I
I mean,
remember
it's
that.
very coveted, and they come with their tents and they're guarding their data, and you cannot just walk up and see what they're bidding on because of their margins, and it's amazing. It's a cool process if you guys haven't seen it. I shouldn't say that. That's not right to say it's a cool process. The foreclosure process
Someone's
is not
losing
cool.
their house, Valerie.
I did not mean
Bananas.
that, but I meant the process in
auction
itself.
process.
The
Yeah.
auction process
Yeah.
in
Just
to
itself
watch
is
it.
very interesting.
Well, I had a client who ended up getting about 19 or 20 properties from the auction, but did HOA.
Correct.
He bought HOA liens or whatever.
But he also had an attorney that was going
He
to
did.
negotiate, and then
How do you know this?
Yeah, we went through us. We
Oh,
closed it.
So
Hello.
See, remember, we don't need anything. We didn't need information.
Valerie, meet Vandana, meet Valerie.
So wait. So he had all of these properties and he put them up for rent. So I managed them for
Right,
like
that
3-4
short-term.
years. The attorney helped him with the process, and finally the banks just caught up with him and said,
I
"Nope,
remember.
we want that." He settled on a few,
Yeah.
but the others he sold. He ended up making a profit during the time that he had those homes.
So
because of the
short-term rate, right?
rental.
So they get the short-term rental
Yeah.
rate plus, the back end of it. So I mean, it's a buy and hold or buy and wait game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I've always been fascinated with the auction process, and I mean, I don't want to see it come back, but I've always been fascinated by the whole process.
Cool. Maybe we should do a show on that one time. Valerie, you want to come back next week?
Sure, yeah.
2 weeks from now.
I'll have my notes ready.
And Shelly, yeah, both Brandon and Shelly are going to be gone, and I need a co-host.
Oh, awesome. That would be.
You want to do it in 2
Yeah,
weeks?
let's do
All
it.
right. So
That'd be
Valerie's
fun.
coming back, you guys, in 2 weeks, and the show starts at 9:30.
Thank you.
We just-
Thank you.
Or 10, whatever.
Yeah,
Or 10. I
whenever
mean,
we
it's
show
just
up,
you and I. It's whenever the hell we want.
9:29,
How about that?
Come rolling in here on your birthday.
Yeah,
It's the only reason why you get a pass is because it's your birthday.
All right. Well, also when it's not my birthday, but
True.
well, we can talk about that another
true,
time.
true. That's
Not a
another
big
time.
deal. I think it's time. I think we got to wrap this up. But Brandon, you've got
comment?
something you look
No.
like you really want to talk about.
Oh,
Talk
the-
about it. You've been really quiet today.
That's
You know what? We're done today. So
I'm actually looking at my email. You lost me about 30 minutes ago in the show.
why?
I just started deleting all this stuff, but I got some from TripAdvisor, but that's junk, so we'll delete that.
When are we going to Costa Rica next? I thought
Let's-
you were
let's
seriously
wrap it up,
like
Vader, yeah?
excited.
Yeah, it's like, do
I
we have-
seriously thought you were
Say
excited
goodbye.
to talk about
Let's wrap it
something.
up.
All right,
that's
the
the
music.
sign.
That's the sign.
Oh, you've got music going?
Yeah.
You're off.
How do you know?
Bye-bye.
Your
Because I know.
outro.
Hurry.
All right, guys. We're saying bye now. Bye-bye.
Wait,
No, make
thank
sure
you,
you-
Valerie and Eric with Chicago Title, for coming on to our second episode, Real Estate Exposed.
Thanks so much, you guys, for being here today. This is for real. We do this all the time.
Yeah.
We're done. Put me off.
Are we off? Make
Facebook
sure you
dot
like and
com.
subscribe.
Which-